In the past 3 years, more than 10,000 men, women and children have died trying to cross this stretch of water. Migrants. People. Each one had a story, a hope, a dream. Over just 6 days, we'll witness the intensity of the rescue attempts, the helplessness of the migrants, and the hopelessness of the effort to end the crisis.
Keep breathing. Come on. Come on.
This is what death and survival looks like.
A very good day to you. I hope you had yourself an amazing Thursday. This is the Black Hot Fire Network, the media of the 21st century. www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. You can catch us live every day, every minute. We have something going on, and I'm here to tell you about what was happening in Africa today. And our main focus is another 45 people died in Djibouti. Migrants. Others died in Congo. That takes the number of people who've died, migrants who've died trying to cross over to Europe, to more than 3,000 this year. That's why today we are looking at Europe's migration tragedy and how we end up losing people each and every year, each and every day. So today alone, we had 45 people dying from two boats capsized. Two boats that were having migrants.
Hold on, Demore.
Hello, Keith.
Yeah. Hey, was that university you told me about? Was that more university with the professor?
Yeah.
Huh?
That was
Now it closed because of the tribal shit.
More university closed. More universities where they threw out.
Look, that's right. When they drew out and put a collagen in, the university now collapsed. Go look it up.
Yeah, I've just seen it.
Because of tribalism.
Wow.
Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
I thought the Kalenjin doctor was going to be the Kalenjin professor was going to take them places, considering.
Yeah, he did. He took them right out, right to nothing, where it don't exist. Yeah, closed. And like they said, and shout out to I learned it on TikTok. They said what you said, the tribal shit. He said, we're so backward, we can't even do universities in Kenya. We got tribal shit going on, destroying good university. I said, that's got to be the university Demore was talking about. That's got to be
Actually, let me show you something that you remember I was telling you about the number of people that walk every day to work? I think, let me show you that. As I was going to town. I don't know if that's
crazy.
Great. Can it be seen on can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, these are people walking on both sides of the road, if you can see it.
And they walking for 18 miles?
That's somewhere in Karen. So they are walking to the construction sites to look for, and there are so many of them. They literally this was around 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, you got to get up early, walk that far. Shit.
Yep. So that's how.
Damn! Look at that. Everybody walking.
Even women have to walk that distance.
That shit crazy.
The lucky ones have bicycles that they can cycle to work with. So if you have a bicycle, you're a bit lucky. This was somewhere else also. I recorded it for you.
Yeah, see walking
on both sides of the road. That's how crazy it is. And we stay talking about tribal. That one is not my tribe, but I see all the tribes walking.
It don't make any sense. I said, oh my God.
In walking to work, you're all walking. The Kikuyus, the Kalenjin. Why is there no tribalism in lacking medicines in the hospital?
You destroy the college over your tribalism shit. Because he was a Kikuyu and you said no. This shit's crazy. Or whatever you said he was.
Yeah, it's actually crazy when how tribal and how the Kenyan political dynamics is not just the Kenyan, it's the African.
Africa.
Yet,
I right there. That's why the relationship is like they say fraternal. They treat you like children because you're like children in the head. You're gonna get instead of saying, is this person qualified to teach my children? You're gonna say, is he part of my tribe? What are you talking about? I don't give a fuck if he's part of my. Is he qualified to teach my children? That should be the most important thing. But you too backward and childish in the head, talking this tribal shit. But you didn't, like you showed me. They didn't say that with that Indian motherfucker they appointed to parliament. They only do it to other black people. So there's a problem with your mind. You showed me when they was up there praising the Indian guy that they put in parliament. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, he's Indian. You got a problem with your fucking mind.
I should play that video. And then play now the one that the university has closed down. Kicks out the VC. They kicked out the vice chancellor because he wasn't from their tribe. Let me look for that video actually and play it. Just to show you how anyway, I'll look for that video and share it. But in the meantime, we can continue watching the video that we were watching on how we have lost so many people this year alone from the migrant boat accident. We actually had 45 people dying today in Djibouti. We had another 20 die the other day. So we have so many. We have been having every now and then. Every time I come here to read the news, I always have to read something on some people who died as they were trying to cross over to Europe. It has become a really, really big problem where now everybody is trying to get out of Africa. And in that process, they don't even care about the conditions of the means they use. And we end up losing many, many Africans every year. We've lost 3,000 so far. 3,000. 3,000 this year. We're only in October. We've lost. And those are the ones that have been accounted for.
As a journalist, I've reported on almost every aspect of this continent's migration crisis. Everything except the most dangerous part of the migrants' journey, the sea crossing, where thousands are saved and thousands die. There is a calmness to our early morning departure. The sea is flat and the air warm. There is apprehension and there's adrenaline. We're traveling with rescuers, medics and sailors. On board the Topaz Responder, a floating ambulance. They know their roles and they know the challenges too. But the next 6 days will be among the hardest they've experienced.
This thread comes in both the vessels make like this, they can you get a crush into this, not overfilling again. That is the most.
And we'll be with them through it all, as observers who become participants.
We can work around what you advise.
And then we can work around too.
We'll see how bonds are formed between us all and with those who'll be saved.
If we did have a case like that, we come alongside and the stretch can actually be taken from the foredeck or the aft.
Because in the end, this team of professionals are just people saving other people. Malta is the ship's base. From here, we're heading south towards Libya. It's from this war-torn country that so many thousands leave looking for a better life in Europe. Smugglers bring the migrants together on the beaches of towns dotted along the coastline. But few of them are actually from Libya. The 300,000 who've made this journey in 2016 are from all over Africa, the Middle East and beyond. They've travelled to Libya because that's the gateway to Europe, and in this lawless place, no one is stopping them from coming. The sea they think they'll cross is vast. It'll take us 24 hours from Malta to the area where their boats will run into trouble.
I just want you to see the distance that they sometimes cross. And that is just to show you the hopelessness that is there, because for you to make such a journey with all the risks that are involved, I know the angle of the story is of course going to be biased considering it's a Sky News story, but I want you to look at the distance that they attempt to cross. Okay, some of them manage to, a majority of them manage to, but a lot of them still die in the sea because it's a huge distance that they have to cross, and they use not so well maintained boats. Sometimes they are makeshift boats, and so they never really make it to the other side, and they understand the risk. But I want you to see the hopelessness that is there in Africa, to a point that you are willing to take the risk of crossing over a place you're not even sure you're going to get to the other side, rather than stay.
The journey south is the time for the crew to train and get to know each other.
To kind of bring it in, bring the American back. So we recover casualty first. Somebody always needs to look at that person.
There are 3 teams here, and they've not all worked together before. The Topaz crew run the ship. Men from Tanzania, Russia, Ukraine, Poland. The medics are from the Red Cross, a doctor and her nurses. And the rescuers are the backbone, MOAS, the Migrant Offshore Aid Station, a charity. They don't make a profit, and they're not political.
My name's Nicholas Romarok. I'm the able seaman, so crew on the FRDC, and rescue swimmer. So when we have a rescue, I go on board the rescue craft, and if someone needs to board one of the migrant vessels, the on-sea coordinator can give me the green light, and I'll go on board and start stabilizing the vessel and keeping people calm.
For the rescuers like Nick, there is an anxiety to this downtime as we head south, because he knows what's to come.
When we have rough weather like this, it can be pretty quiet for a couple of days. The problem with that is that people will then, everyone who wants to leave, they start kind of piling up on the beaches, and they'll all leave at the same time. So that can mean up to 20 boats, maybe 30 boats. I think what some people were coming across last week was, I think they had 6,500 people in one day.
The crew have different ways of passing the time.
It's a fish.
There's like 2 or 3 black barrels, and they're attached together so they float, and there's a length of line underneath them, and there'll be palm trees attached to that, and it creates a shady area so the fish come in, because the fish don't like to be hanging out in the sun either, and they congregate around shady areas. So we're going to troll backwards and forwards and see if we can catch one.
With that killing 7.
I'm looking for a part I saw where now the rescued Africans, the migrants who are rescued, were giving their side of the story, and I want you to see the hopelessness that is in those people and what drives them to take part in voyages and to cross over places they know that they might not make it to the other side. When they were being asked, why not just stay in Africa? Because even where you're going to be deported. So I just wanted to show, I'm looking for that part where...
It's just gone 5 a.m. and we've just been woken up by the team here on the MOAS migrant rescue boat. They should be rescued pretty shortly, so...
5-4, negative, sir, negative.
Can you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so we had a report on the radio. Italian Coast Guard or naval asset called up a project tanker in Libyan waters.
who's reporting that there are some rebel boats around them. Just trying to get some more information at the moment, but we're moving west in case they've moved away from the coast, so we could help them out if they need help.
It's like 2 miles to reach this area. How far away from we are here? If they don't fire knots, it's 10 miles.
Search and rescue team leader Marco Cauchi explains that there's a migrant dinghy 2 miles off the Libyan coast. That's well inside dangerous Libyan waters. But the smugglers will only have provided the migrants with limited fuel for an overcrowded, poor quality dinghy, and so a rescue will have to come. Coordination is by radio from the Italian authorities in Rome. It's time to move. It's only when you come face to face with the migrant boats that you realize just how crazy, how dangerous and how desperate this whole thing is.
This is how they cross. This is the part I was looking for. This is how they attempt to cross that distance that you saw. Those hundreds of kilometers that they attempt to cross using this. They're going to be there for days. They know the risk involved, but they would rather take it. With kids and, imagine taking this much of a risk to escape from the richest place you can be in the world. Because you're hopeless and there's nothing to live for, there's nothing to look forward to. Everything is messed up. There are no opportunities and there's no hope. Because lack of opportunity is one thing, but now there's no opportunity and there are no opportunities and there's no hope at the same time. So now it gets to a point where now they know the risk involved, as you're going to hear them say, but they would rather die in the sea trying, because there are two options when they get into the sea. It's either they die in the sea or they make it to Europe. And they are okay with both the options rather than stay in Africa, in those countries, and suffer the poverty and the hopelessness and everything that is happening. So this is how they attempt to cross those hundreds of kilometers.
The red drum at the back of the boat is their fuel tank, so that's an open fuel tank basically. It's not enclosed, so those drums are just full of neat petrol.
The boat is packed, and the challenge for the team is massive.
We've moved up close now to the migrants. The job of the rescue teams now is to get the life jackets from this rescue boat onto the dinghy.
Listen to instructions from this man.
Paul and Nick need to take control to keep people calm. Most here can't swim. We're 12 miles off the Libyan coast. Europe is 200 miles to the north. They must stay seated until the main rescue vessel can be brought alongside.
Those ones were migrants from Libya, though.
Mid-rescue, a surprise. The Libyan Coast Guard turns up. These are the people who are supposed to be stopping the migrants. It's clear quickly that they're really not up to it.
Hello, I'm Mark from Sky News. How are you? Salam alaikum.
We manage a few words with them. They told us they do try, but it's impossible, they say. There are so many leaving. This is what a good rescue looks like. No one died, no one was injured.
Please stay seated. We will make line by line, okay? Okay, come on.
They're checked, and within a few hours are transferred to another vessel. They'll head to Italy.
We're going to take care of you slowly, but you must sit down and wait.
But here's the uncomfortable reality.
Where are you from?
Morocco.
Morocco. And you, Morocco?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Huh? Pakistan. Libya. Morocco.
My nationality is Moroccan. I'm from Libya. Is working.
Many of these people have no right to be in Europe. They won't get asylum because they're not from countries at war. They're not persecuted. They're just escaping the hopelessness of poverty. But if they'd not been rescued, they would almost certainly have died. And by the morning, the crew will be faced with an extraordinary challenge. It's just hours since yesterday's rescue. They're out again. The crew of the Topaz Responder have trained for this. But in the darkness out here, everything is so much harder. So much can go wrong.
My concern is if the rubber dinghy has been out since yesterday.
Anyway, that is it's a long video. I just wanted, we have not yet gotten to the part that I wanted us to see, but it's too long, and of course being told from a biased point of view. But the reality is most of those people, most of the Africans that try to go through the sea to the other side, knowing the risk involved, and of course knowing that even when they get to the other side, they are going to be racially abused, they are going to be discriminated. It's not going to feel like home. It's hopelessness. There is too much hopelessness in Africa at the moment. That's why, for example, the 45 Djiboutians died from the boat accident. In Congo, another 50 died as another boat capsized in Congo. That was not a migrant boat, but another boat capsized in Congo on a lake, killing 50. That is in Lake Kivu. It was overloaded, of course. It sank. If I count the number of people who died by boat accidents, because I also understand in Nigeria, another 100 people are missing after a boat capsized in northern Nigeria. So that now add 100 to the 50 to the 45. And in Nigeria, the sad part is the 100 people who are missing in Nigeria are mostly women and children. It is because of another overloaded boat that was bringing them back from an Islamic festival at night. So it capsized and they can't be seen. The boat, locally made, those are the boats that we use, has a capacity of 100 passengers, but was carrying 300. The boat one, locally made, so it's a makeshift boat, so not even something you can rely on, because it's I don't know if it's seaworthy. Has a capacity of 100, but they had 300 people on board along the Niger River. So it overturned somewhere in northwestern Nigeria. 100 people are missing at the moment. 100 people are missing, and it's not the first one. We had another one that killed more than 100 people in 2023, if you can remember. So far, they're saying they have recovered 11 bodies. 150 people had been rescued as of yesterday, and 100 are still missing. How 300 people are allowed to board 100 people capacity boat? Well, just points at how corrupt and how corruption has gotten so deep into us, and incompetence and unaccountability, because nobody is going to be held accountable for the 100 deaths, because the deaths may get to 100, because if the boat capsized on Tuesday, it's Thursday, people who have not been found are probably dead. There's a high possibility they're dead. So that's going to be another 100 plus dead people, because they have already recovered 11. The 100 people who died in 2023, nobody was held accountable for it. The ones who died in Congo, nobody is going to be held accountable to it. And so it looks like we've lost the value of life, because 100 people is way too many lives. Even one life is way too many lives. So when we have such number of lives getting lost because of one, ignorance, because why do you board 100? You see, a boat has a capacity of 100 people. There are already 250 people on board. Then you add yourself up there. Now you're 251, 150 extra. We are also ignorant as a people, but also the problem also lies with the authorities, because if nobody tames the greedy operators who want to have 3 times the profit, then of course such things are going to happen over and over again. Another news that are not related to deaths but still sad news is that there was a meeting between the AU and the UN. The head of the United Nations office to the African Union had a meeting with at the Security Council, where he briefed the UN on the cooperation between the UN and the regional organization, including the AU. They are seeking partnerships between the UN and the AU that are going to, in their words, share a sustainable multilateralism. So it's just big words to just, they're saying they want to increase their partnership. They are looking for ways to strengthen the cooperation. The African Union was formed when was it formed? In the 1980s, back then as the OAU, then came to become the AU later on. It's supposed to be the uniting, they say it's the uniting body in Africa that is supposed to be uniting Africa. That is why it's called African Union. A union comes from the word unity, so it's supposed to be the one uniting Africans. And the permanent representative of the UN said that they are seeking to increase efforts towards sustainable development as well as collaborative and inclusive actions. It's just ChatGPT words that they use in these statements, but at the end of the day, we know nothing is really going to. For how many years has the AU been functional, and how many projects can the AU point at and say that it did? How many years has the UN been functional, and what benefit can we point and say the UN did that and stopped that and helped in that? We're having people getting bombed in Lebanon, women and kids and civilians getting bombed and killed, hundreds and thousands of them. Who is speaking? If you say that it's supposed to be the United Nations, supposed to unite nations, then why is there disparity? Why is there a level in who? Why is there discrimination in who? Why is there? It's what George Orwell says in The Animal Farm, that in this farm some animals are more equal than others. Even in this farm, some animals are more equal than others, because some countries can't touch others, but others can touch any country they want. Russia, look at the Russia-Ukraine war and how Russia was treated. And now look at the Israel, Iran, Lebanon, whatever war, and look at how it's treated. When Israel attacks anybody, they say Israel has the right to defend itself. When any country attacks Israel, they say those are terrorists and criminal gangs, and they need to be contained. When Russia attacks any country, the world is up against Russia. When Ukraine attacks Russia, they tell Russia, you got a taste of your own medicine. So George Orwell was right. In this animal farm, some animals are more equal than others. Anyway, as we come to the end, this has been the Black Hot Fire updates. We were looking at how at least more people are dying from migrant boats, and I don't know what you can do to address that, because there's nothing we can do apart from solving the problem, the root cause of the migrations. Unless we address the root cause, there is no mitigative measure that is going to stop people from dying every year, every day as they try to cross over Europe. Because unless you deal with the hopelessness, then people will think they are better dead than living in desperation. So 50 died in Congo, 45 died in Djibouti, and 100 died in Nigeria. Those are separate boat accidents and related ones. And more victims of the Djibouti migrant boats tragedy are still getting recovered, as at the moment we've had at least 45 recovered so far. The numbers might go up. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, even though the news were not as entertaining. That's Africa. The news are never really entertaining. It's always people dying here and there and there. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Job is coming up in a bit with Kamlesh, with some musicals. I'll be here tomorrow on the Black Hot Fire updates. Enjoy the rest of your day. Much love, family.